Well, right now we are standing in front of one of the many exhibition halls at the Orange County Convention Center here in Orlando. Next to me is Mr. Brian Ashley from Suniva Incorporated. Welcome to Rary PV TV and thank you for this interview.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, you have just held a session with the title How Trade Policies are Shaping the Solar Industry. Can you give us a brief description about the content of this session?
Well, of course, mostly in the news is the recent anti-dumping and countervailing duties decisions in the U.S., which are not yet final, which should be finalized in the next 30 days or so, but also the new action in the EU against China for alleged unfair trade practices and subsidies. So those very much will impact the trade in PV and free trade in PV, but also in one topic that interests me is beyond the China, U.S., China, Europe question, but local content restrictions which are springing up, especially in the developing world, in many countries that are trying to incent PV development and really need PV as an alternate sources of power, and the harm that they're having on exports from all countries like the U.S. And us.
Well, we are hearing from different sources about a kind of trade war against China. What's the current status of this war and how will it end?
Well, of course, I think maybe the first salvo was the U.S. anti-dumping and countervailing duties decision, which again is going to be finalized, I think, in the next 30-40 days. But there's two sides to that story as well. You know, our company was neutral in that action. We didn't really take sides in that action here in the U.S. But with the European action, I think will be the next really big shoe to fall, and what happens there will be could really influence the strategy that the Chinese use going forward in their PV industry, which is very important to them and a strategic industry to their country.
And what is the best thing that could happen in your opinion?
Well, I'm a free trader, but I also believe in fair trade. So we'll have to see what the investigation brings in Europe, and so it's hard to jump to conclusions yet until you know the facts on that particular. So we'll wait and see what happens. But again, I think the fewer restrictions to trade, free and fair trade, the better all over the world.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Brian Ashley from Suniva Incorporated.